Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In previous video, we have seen that how to design for this one, that is view visitors, and how to backend code for this. So if you haven't watched that video, then just go to description there. I put the link for my previous videos. So in this video, we are going to see how to design for this one and how to backend code for this, that is generate pass. So let me close this application and let's start the development for the same. So let me close all of these. And next thing what we have to do is we have to back over here to the solution explorer. Just click on this and right click on this and we have to add a new form. So select add and select the form over here. After this, let me just change the name. This is not form 2. I'm going to give it a name that is generate pass. Generate pass and click on add, and here the new form is added. So first thing what we have to do is just click on this and we need to remove the form border style as we have done in the previous videos. So click on this, right click on this, go to properties, and here we can see this form border style, change this one from sizable to none. After this, I'm going to change the back color for this one from gray to white. So click on this and click on custom and select white and just save it. After this, I'm going to give it a fixed height and width. So right now it's 800 and 450. So I'm going to change it to 1083, 898. You can change it as per your choice, but now I'm going to change it as per my requirement. After this, I'm going to copy some of the items from here. So let me go back to view visitors, and here I'm going to copy all of the items from here. So let me just copy this and move back over and paste it over here. Let me move this one to the top like this, and let me adjust all of these stuff a bit like this one so that this looks nice. After this, I'm going to change the name for this one to from all visitor to generate visitor pass. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give some height and width for this one. Okay, so I'm going to decrease the size for this one a little bit like this one and just save it. If I click on this and go to properties, and here you can see this is the name for this data grid view is data grid view visitors, and this is perfectly right because in this one we are again going to show the visitors list. Let me just move this one on the little bit of the left, and what we are going to do is we are going to stretch this one a little bit like this, and this one too like this, so that it looks professional. Okay, after this we need to add some labels. So let me copy these 1 and 2 times and just change this label from search to valid from, hit enter, and change this one to valid to, hit enter. After this, we are going to put 2 combo box over here. Not combo box, it's datetime picker, sorry. So I'm going to go to this toolbar, and here we have to search for datetime picker. So drag and drop it over here. And we need one more. So right now I'm going to select only one, and we are going to change the properties of this one. And after that, we will add the another. Okay. So for that, just click on this. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to first increase the size for this one. So we have to move back over here, click on this, select this one to calibrate, this one, and I'm going to select this one to bold, and the size will be 12, and hit OK, and this will increase the calendar font. If I hit enter, okay, nothing happens, don't worry about that. We again have to do the same for the font. So click on this one, calibrate, select bold, and size is 12, and hit OK, and now here you can see this, now the size is changed. After this, we have to set this format from long to custom, and here I'm going to give it a custom format. So for this one, just go over here, dd.mm.yyyy like this, and hit enter, and you can see this, now the font is changed. After this, I'm going to just put this one in the proper position like this. With the help of keys, you can also move this one upward and downward. In the same way, I need one more. So I'm going to copy it and paste it once again. And if I move back away, here you can see this. For this one, I'm going to set the size. If you want to set the size if you want to increase it, like 35, like this one, it will increase the size. Okay, right now I'm going to just go with this default size. Let me move this on the little bit of the left and just save it. After this, we need to change the label, the name for this one. So date time picker, and I'm going to give it a name, date time picker, valid from, hit enter. Change this one to date time picker valid to, like this. And we have set the name for these two so that with this name we can actually access these date time picker into our code. After this, I'm going to add one panel over here. So just go over here, search for panel and just drag and drop it over here. Just click on this, and after this we are going to change the color for this one. So the back color, where it goes here. After this, for this back color, I'm going to change this one to 192, 255, 192 and hit enter, and the color for this one is changed. After this, I'm going to change the size for this one from 200 and 100 to 685, 350 and hit enter, and just put this in the proper position. So let me just move this one like this. And let me adjust this one a bit. So like this one, and move these all to the upside like this, like this one. And let me move these two upside a little bit like this. Now this one is looking better. And we need one button over here, and we need some of the picture box on the left. So let me drag some picture box and drag and drop it over here. And let me just decrease the size for this one like this. And I need 3 picture box over here. So let me copy and paste it once again, and paste it once again. This will represent the different colors. After this, we need one variable over here. So let me just copy this one, the label, and click on this one and change the variable over here. The value for this one, 1 day pass, hit enter, and just click on this font style, change this one to light italic and hit enter like this one. Let me just copy and paste it once again. We will put like this and paste it once again, and we will put this one over here. Click on this and change the text for this one. This will be 2 to 7 day pass. And let me just move this one on the left side and click on this, and this will be more than 1 week pass. If you click on this, then you can change the line, more than 1 week pass, and hit enter, and just click like this. And here you can see this. Now the text is aligned accordingly. Now save it. After this, inside this one, we also need some labels. So let me just copy and paste it over here. Let me just move back this one, and we can change the text for this one. If you want to change, you can give this any name, but I'm going to give this BTech days get pass and hit enter, and just move back over here, change the font to bold 14 and hit enter, and here you can see that this one is looking nice. After this, what we have to do is just save it. Let me just copy this one and paste it once again, and here we are going to give it a name. So I'm going to change this one to pass ID. Again, copy and paste it over here. Okay, let me just copy this one and paste it once again, and we need total of 6. So let me just paste 6 times, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, so for the second one, I'm going to change the name for this one to name. Third will be contact. Fourth will be gender. This fifth will be valid from, and this one will be valid to. After this, let me place this in the proper way. So like this one, like this, like this, like this one. Save it. After this, let me just copy this once again and paste it over here, and just click on this and change the label to colon and hit enter. And let me move it like this and paste it, not this one. Let me just copy this and paste it once again. Paste it once again. Paste it again and again like this. And just save it. After this, we need another labels in which we are going to set the data. For that, I'm going to copy all of these. Copy these and paste it and just put it like this. And what we have to do is we have to move back over here and change the name for these labels. So label pass ID, this one label name, this one label contact, this one label gender, this one label valid from, and this one label valid to. Valid to. After this, we need to clear all the text from these fields, these labels basically. So let me just clear this and hit enter. Clear this and hit enter. Click on this, clear this and hit enter. Clear these and hit enter. And same for these, clear it and hit enter. Clear this and hit enter. Now we cannot find the labels. How to select the labels? If I press Ctrl and A, here you can see that these smalls are labels, right? So let me just unselect all. And after this, we are going to put one picture box over here. So let me just open a toolbox, search for picture box, drag and drop it over here. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a fixed size. So if I do like this, and if I move back over here, I'm going to give it a size first. So the size I'm going to give it is 188, 184 and hit enter. Let me move this one like this. After this, I'm going to give the form border style, this border style for this one. So click on this and fix 3D. Or if you want, you can change this one to fix single. So I'm going to select this one, fix 3D, and just save it. And in the background for this one, I'm going to select the none, and if everything seems good, okay, this back color. So the back color for this one is green right now. So what I want is I want to change this one to white so that I can uniquely identify that the image is not selected inside this one. Okay. Next thing what we have to do is we have to put one button over here. For that, I'm going to just move back over here, go to this add visitor, and I'm going to copy this one. Let me just close this and move back over here and paste it. Just move back over here. We just make this button a little bit larger like this, and just click on this and need to change the text. I'm going to change this one to generate. Hit enter. Just move back to the top, btn generate. Hit enter. And now our form is ready. Okay, here you can see this, everything is in place. Next thing what we have to do is we have to connect this form with the dashboard. And before we do that, what I want is whenever we click or open this form, I want to open this form in the center of the screen. For that, just click on empty space, go over here to the start position, change this one to center screen and save it. Now move back over here, go to the dashboard and just click on this, and here you can see this, the name for this one is generate pass tool strip menu item. So just double click on this to generate a click event for this. And here first we will check that if the form is already opened or not. So if application dot open forms dot of type, and say this one we are going to pass the type. So our type is generate pass dot count is equal to 1. In that case, the form is open. So what I want is application dot open forms dot of type. Inside this one, we have to pass generate pass dot first dot and bring this one to front. If this is not the case, then in the else condition, what I want is I have to open a new gate pass, right? For that, generate pass is equal to new generate pass like this, and simply generate pass dot show. Now save it and now start this and let's test this one. So my username is admin and password is pass. And if I click on this, if I click on this one, and here you can see that this is opening in the center of the screen. But here you can see this, the labels are overlapping over this. So we can move this one a little bit on the left side so that it looks nice. So let me close this. Move back over here to this one. Just scroll a bit. Just select all and just move these all in the little bit like this one. Now save it and now let's see this again. So start admin password, and if I click on this, and here you can see this, now this one is in the proper place, but we can't able to see the colors over there. For that, even to see that, we can actually add some default color into these, or you can add the default color from the code. So we are going to add the default color from the code, and if you want to give it a border style, so select all of these and give this a border style. That is a fixed 3D, and if I save it, now if I start it, you can see the depth over here. So let me start this and let me show you quickly. If I click on this and here you can see this, we have this. So we will fill the color in these picture box programmatically. So don't worry about that. So let me start this, close this, sorry. And here first thing what I want is whenever this form's open, I want to fill the data of the visitor into this data grid view. Okay, so how to do that? So for that, let me just generate a click event for this form. And before we generate the load event for this form, what I want is I want to generate a click event for this one, that is close. So just double click on this. Here we have to call simply this dot close like this and save it. Now just move back to this gate pass and let me just move this one on the left side, and so that this one is good. Next thing, whenever this form loads, I want to fill the data into this one. So just double click on this empty space so that we can generate a form load event. And now you can see this, now the form load event is in place. So before we code further, what we have to do is we have to create object of database operation. Database operation is equal to new database operation like this one. After this, we need to create a variable of a string query. And after this, we need one variable of dataset type to store the data, that is DS. Now, what we have to do is we have to move into this one, that is generate gate pass load. Here, I'm going to write the query to select all the visitors from the database. So select star from visitors like this. Now the query is ready. Next thing what we have to do is we have to call the database operation dot get data. Inside this one we have to simply pass the query. So in the previous videos I have already generated this class, and we have written the method into this one in which we have to simply pass a string query, and it will execute the query to the database and it will return a dataset object which we are going to store into the DS. After this, what we have to do is we have to set this into the data grid view. So data grid view visitors dot data source is equal to ds dot tables, and set this one we are going to set the 0th table. So this data grid view visitors is the name for this one. So if I click on this and if I move back over here in the properties, you can see this name. So if this name is different in your system, then you have to use your system name over here. After this, what I want is I want to set the color into these all picture box. So if I click on this, let me check the name for this one. This is picture box 1. This is picture box 2. This is picture box 3. So I'm going to set the color into these all picture box. So picture box 1 dot back color. Inside this one, I'm going to set color dot gray. And if in picture box 2 dot back color, I'm going to set color dot yellow. Picture box 3 dot back color is equal to color dot sky blue. Now let's start this and let's see if the data is filled into this data grid view, and also these teeny picture box have colors or not. So if I start this and let's check it. So admin and pass, now log in, and if I click on this, here you can see this. Now this data grid view is filled with the data, and also the color inside these all are filled. Okay. Next thing, what we have to do is whenever I type something inside this one, then I want the text corresponding to that stuff over here in the data corresponding to this text filled inside this data grid view. So let's do that. Let me just close this and move back over here. Just click on this. This is txt search. Click on this one and txt search event. So double click on this and this will generate a search event. So first thing what I want is I want to extract the text from that. So string search text is equal to txt search dot text, like this one. After this, I'm going to write the query to fetch the data accordingly. So select star from visitors where we name like single quotes, double quotes, plus plus, double quotes and single quotes. Inside this one we will pass search text, and we're going to check for the name in between or even after this one. Or I'm going to validate for or search for unique ID also. So UNIQUE ID like single quotes, double quotes, plus plus, double quotes and single quotes, and here I'm going to pass the search text. And here I'm going to again put the percent and the percent over here. It means that any text in between is also, like suppose if I typed ABC, then ABC is in between, and anything from the first and last, that will be a valid for this one. After this, we are also going to unique ID. We are also going to search for visitor ID. So, or let me just change the, no, just leave it. Or visitor ID like single quotes, double quotes, plus plus, double quotes and single quotes. Here I'm going to pass the search text, and again I'm going to put the percent sign on the start and again the percent sign on the end, like this. Now our query is ready. Next thing, we have to simply call this get data method. So database operation dot get data. Inside this one we have to pass the query just like this, and we have to store that data which is being returned from this method into this DS. And finally, data grid view visitors dot data source is equal to ts dot tables. So this one we have to pass the 0, and now start the application and let's check it if this one is working fine or not. So admin pass login. If I click on this and if I type yes a, and here you can see this yes a is in these two. If I remove it, and let's find common in this visitor ID. So let me just drag like this, drag like this one. Visitor ID on 03 is common in these two, right? So if I type 03, then here we can see this 03 is in these two, so only these two are visible over here. So we have fetch the data corresponding to the visitor ID, and we have also fetched the data corresponding to the name. So here you can see that if I type SA, we have these two. Now let's check for this unique ID. So in the unique ID here, nothing is common, but if I type UNI, here you can see this UNI is only in this one. So we can fetch this corresponding to this text. So this one is working fine. If I clear it, now every data is loaded. After this, what I want is whenever I click on any row, then the data corresponding to that row needs to be filled over here. So let's do that. Let me just close this one, and close this. Move back over here to this gate pass design. Click on this one, click on this, and cell click and double click on this, and this will generate a cell click event. Here, before we write something inside this one, we need some variables. What is that? So that is the string pass ID, which we are going to need then another methods, the string path, after this int 64 visitor pk, like this one, and inside this one we are going to put every code in the try and catch block. So try catch exception ex, and I'm going to write the exception to the terminal. So write line, and here I'm going to pass this ex like this, and here what we need, the first thing is path. So path is equal to application dot startup path. Inside this one we need substring, and we need to pass the 0 comma application dot startup path. Inside this one we need to pass startup path dot length minus 10, like this one, plus we have to pass the image name, the folder name where we have put the images. So folder name is images, so images, like this. After this plus, and inside this one we are going to extract the data from the data grid view visitors dot rows, and from where we are going to get the rows. So e dot row index, which we have selected, right? And from that I'm going to extract the cell value of 6, and we are going to need the value from it. So value, and convert this one to string, like this. And then again we have to concat the .jpg. This is the final path which is being prepared. After this, what I need is, I need to get the pass ID. So pass ID is equal to utility dot get unique ID. Inside this one I'm going to pass the PID. This is the prefix for the pass ID. After this is the method which we have created in the previous videos. This is actually returning a unique number corresponding to the time, the system nano time. Okay. After this, what we have to do is we have to set the visitors pk. So visitor pk is equal to int 64 this dot parse, and we have to extract the data from the data grid view dot visitors dot rows e dot row index dot cells 0 dot value dot to string, like this one. After this we have to set the path ID. So label pass ID dot text is equal to pass ID, like this one. Label name dot text is equal to data grid view visitors dot rows inside this one we have to pass e dot row index dot cells. So this one we have to pass 1 dot value dot to string, like this one. After this we have label contact dot text is equal to data grid view visitors dot rows. So this one e dot row index dot cells. Inside this one we have to pass 2. This is not 0, this is 1. 2 dot value dot to string. After this we have label. After this we have gender. Label gender dot text is equal to data grid view visitor dot rows e dot row index dot cells. Inside this one we have to pass 3 dot value dot to string like this, and we also need to fetch the image and we need to show that image into that picture box, right? So if picture box for this is the profile picture box, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name for this one. So click on this, go to this one, picture box 4. I'm going to just change this one to picture box profile. And if I move back over here, I'm going to check this picture box profile dot image is not equal to null. In that case, what I want is I want to remove the existing image from the picture box. Picture box profile dot image dot dispose, and picture box dot image is equal to null. And after this, what we have to do is, if the existing image has been removed, now we have to set the image. So picture box profile dot size mode is equal to picture box size mode dot stretched image, and picture box dot image is equal to image from file, image dot from file. Inside this one we have to pass the path, like simple like that. Now let's start our application and let's see if this one is working fine or not. So I have started my application, admin and pass, and now login. If I click on this and if I click this, here you can see this new Upi ID is generated. If I click on this, here you can see this one is working fine. Next thing, we cannot see the image over here. So why this one is not working? Let's check it. So let me just close this. Let me just close this. Go to output and let's see what's the issue. So gate pass image. Program exited. File not found exception. Okay, images, and we don't have the slash after this one. Let me just put double slash like this and now start our application and let's see if this one is working fine or not. So admin, pass, login, click on this and select these, and here you can see this. Now we have the image for only the last one, so that's why the image is visible for the last one. If I click on this, image is not available, so the image has been removed. Okay, so this one is working fine. Next thing what I want is, whenever I select this, and if I select the backdate before this one, then I need to validate that valid from and that valid to date should be after this valid from date, and valid from date must be after the today date. Okay, so we're going to put the validation on the select of these two date time picker. So let's start with that. So let me close this and close this one. Before we do any validation on that one, what I want is we have to actually write some utility methods. So that will be the supporting methods for that one. Okay. So to move back over here, and here what I'm going to do is I'm going to write one method which will set the color into this one, this panel basically. So let's move back over here, write private void set pass color, and it will get int 64, and this is going to get a number of days like this. Hit enter. And here, if days is equal to 0, it means that both from and to is today date only. In that case, the pass is valid only for one day. So panel 1 dot back color is equal to color dot gray. Else if days is less than or equal to 6. In that case, panel 1 dot back color is equal to color dot yellow. Else, if it's greater than 6 days, then panel 1 dot back color is equal to color dot sky blue. After this, we need some other methods like to compare the date. So private void compare date string input Inside this one, what we're going to do is we are going to get the date, time, dt current is equal to date time dot now, like this, and just save it and move back over, show potential fixes, and it's date time. Here you can see this. Now this issue is resolved. After this, we have date time input date is equal to date time dot parse exact, and so this one we have to pass the input, and the input format is dd.mm.y like this one. Culture, let me just move like this. Culture info dot invariant culture, like this. Save it and hover over this, show potential fixes using this one, and now save it. After this, what we have to do is we have to get the int result is equal to date time dot compare dt current comma input date, like this one. And simply we are going to write this one into the console dot write line, and result we are going to write. Okay, after this, what we are going to do is we are going to check, we are going to write two or more methods which will check that is date before or today, and again we are going to check that is date after valid from. So public static boolean is date before or today, and this is going to return get a string input. Inside this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a date time p date, if not date time dot try parser extract. Inside this one we will pass input. Inside this one we will pass the format dd.mm.yyyy dot, and we are again going to copy this one from here. I'm going to paste it over here, comma date time styles dot none, comma out, and inside this one we have to pass this p date, like this. If this is the case, then what we have to do is return false, and if this is not the case, then return date time dot today is less than equal to p date. So what we are trying to do over here is, if anything goes wrong, it means that any exception happens, then return simply false, else we compare the date and return the true and false corresponding to that. After this, I'm going to write another method, that is public static boolean is date after valid from, and this is going to return string date and string date from. After this, we are going to do like this: date time valid from valid to comma valid from, and again we are going to check for that exception. So if not date time dot try parse exact, and so this one we are going to pass date comma dd.mm.yyyy, comma, culture info dot invariant culture, comma, date time style dot none, comma, out valid 2, and here we will return false. Simple like that. And here again what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply copy this once again and paste it once again over here, and I'm going to change this one to valid from, well, not this one, this date from, and move back over here, this date from. Okay, after this what we are going to do is we are going to simply check return valid from is less than or equal to valid 2, like that. This one from date to valid to date from to valid from, like this one. Okay, after this what we have to do is we have to move back over here, and here what I'm going to do is this is the date time picker valid from, right? So if I click on this and go to the events, and here I'm going to generate an event that is value change. So whenever the value is changed, we need to check do the validation that date is selected today date or date after today, right? So if, and we have written the method is date before or today, and inside this one I'm going to pass the date time picker valid from dot text. And if this is the case, then what I want is label valid from dot text is equal to date time picker valid from dot text. If this is not the case, then we need to acknowledge the user that you have selected wrong date or suggest how to select the date. So message box.show, inside this one I'm going to set the text. So I'm going to set it to select today date or date after today. And for this one I'm going to give it a caption that is information, and I'm going to put one message box button dot OK, and I'm going to put one icon. So message box icon dot this one exclamation mark. And now let's test this. For this this date valid from, so let me just start my application, admin and pass, click on login, click on this, and if I click on this, and here if I click this, now the date is set over here. If I try to select the date before today date, that is 22, select today date or date after today. So this one is valid, working fine. But here you can see this, now I can even select the date before this 22. So if I try to select like this one is working. So what I want is I want to select the I have to validate that also. So move back over here, just click on this one, click on this valid to, click on this value change event, double click on this, and this will generate a click event over here. And here I need one variable that is int64. This will have the days like this. And here first thing what we will check is if not string dot is null or empty, that is label valid from dot text. If this is the case, it means that valid from is not selected. In that case, I want to show the user a message. So message box dot show, inside this one I'm going to set some text. So that is select valid from date first, and I'm going to give it a caption that is information, and I'm going to put one button into this one, that is message box button dot OK. and I'm going to put one message box icon. So message box icon dot exclamation mark, so dot like this one, and just save it. After this validation, what I have to do is I have to check for that is date after the valid from date. So if is date after valid from date, it means that whatever we have selected into this one, the date needs to be after that, right? So selected, if we have selected 23, then it must be 23 or 24, like that. So is date after valid from date. So inside this one, we have to simply pass date time picker dot valid to dot text dot, inside this one we have to select the label valid from dot text. We have already written the method for the same, so click on this, and here you can see this date and date from we are expecting. So now move back over here, where it goes over here. If this is not the case, then what we have to do is we have to again show the message. So message box dot show. Inside this one, I'm going to set some text for this, that is select date after valid from date, like this, and I'm going to put a caption for this, so information, and after this message box button dot OK, and after this I'm going to set a message box button dot explanation mark, that is message box icon, okay, dot exclamation mark, like this one, and save it. And now let's test this if this one is working fine or not. Let me just start this admin and pass login. If I click on this, and if I click on this one and trying to select 22, select valid from date first. It means that valid from is not selected. So I'm going to select this 23. If I try to select 22, okay, so 22 is previously selected. That's why it doesn't change, because we have selected the event, that is value change event. If I click on this, and here you can see this select date after valid from date. So this is valid from date, that is 23. Now here you can see this. If I select 24, this one is working fine. So if I select 24 over here or 25 over here, and now if I move back away and try to just select 24, now 24 is already selected. Now if I try to select 23, here you can see the select date after valid from date. It means that this one is working fine. The validation over here is working fine. So let me close this and close this application. And here, first thing, whenever this valid date is selected, in that case I want to set the label valid to dot text is equal to date time picker dot valid to dot text. And after this, what we have to do is we have to extract the both date time. So date time start date is equal to date time dot parse exact, and inside this one we have to pass label valid from dot text and convert this one into a proper format. So ddmm dot yyyy, and after this we have to simply pass culture info dot invariant culture, like this one. After this date time and date, so for that date time dot parse extra, and so this one we have to pass label valid to dot text, and we again have to convert this to ddmm dot yyyy dot culture info dot invariant culture, like this one. Now save it, and after this what we have to do is we have to get the days. So days is equal to end date dot date minus start date dot date dot days. From this days, what I want is I want to set the color to that corresponding field. So for that we have already created one method set pass color. Inside this one we have to pass the days. So I'm going to pass the days inside this one. So if I save it And now start this and let's see if the color for that one is changing or not. So admin pass. If I click on this, and here you can see this is a default color. So if I select this, and if I select this one, and if I select 23, here you can see this, now the color is changed. This is a 1 day pass. If I select 24, it means that it's 2 to 7 day pass. And if I select like this one, and here you can see this, it's more than 1 week pass. Now the color is changing as per our requirement. So next thing what I want is, whenever I generate this, we need to reset. We need to remove all of the fields, text from these all fields, and also remove the this one, that is the color for this. So let me just close this and let me just exit this one and just move back over here. And here what I want to do is just to generate a reset event, right? So if I move back over here, just move over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to write one method, that is private void reset. Here label pass id dot reset text. Reset text is for label. Okay, so don't get confused. Our clear is for text fields and other stuff, but for the label we have this one. So reset text like this one. After this, label contact dot reset text. After this, we have label gender dot reset text like this one. After this, we have label valid from dot reset text. After this, label valid to dot reset text like this one. So we have 3 and 3, 6. After this, we have the picture box. We also need to remove the picture from the picture box. So picture box profile dot image is not equal to null. In that situation, I want to clear the picture box. Picture box profile dot image dot dispose. Picture box profile dot image is equal to null, like this. And we have to call this after we click on the generate pass, this button. So if I click on this and go to over here, BTech generate is over here. So if I double click on this, and here first thing we have to simply, for right now we are going to call the reset method, but further we are going to code into this one. So let me start this and go to this one, admin and pass. Now login. If I click on this one, select one date, and if I click on this, here you can see this, everything is gone. Again, select this one, click on this, and everything is gone. So this button is working fine. Next thing what we have seen in the quick overview is, whenever we click on this, a new pop-up is open, and all the data from this one is filled into that pop-up, and that generate a pass which you can print. And after that, returning to this page, this stuff is cleared. So let's start designing that. So let me just close this and move back over here. And here first thing what you have to do is you have to generate a form. So right click on this, click on this one, add, click on the form, and here I'm going to give it a name, that is pass. Click on this add, and this is generated pass over here. So just click on this, and after this I'm going to remove the form border. So click on this and change this one to none. After this, I'm going to set a size for this, that is 575, 730, and hit enter. After this, we need to set the color for this one and also the picture box size. So let me just do that. So click on this, go over here to the back color, and the back color we have to paste this 192, 255, 255, and the color is changed. After this, we need to put one picture box and all of the items which we have designed over here. That is the pass ID, name, contact, and the other stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this, just select all the items, not like this. We need to select like this one. How to select key pass, not like this. Click on this one, must be here somewhere. Okay, this has generated a click event for all, so not to worry about that. So what we are going to do is we are going to select all of these and select these. Okay, so just click on this one. We can't able to select it actually. So what I'm going to do is I just copy these for now, and just click on this one and copy these and move back to this one that is pass and paste it over here like this one, and move these to the bottom, move this one to the top, move this one over here, and here I'm going to set the size for this one, that is 315, 248, and hit enter like this one, and put this in the center of the screen. And if you want to increase the size for this, you can increase that too. So I'm going to increase the size for this label. So click on this one, and I'm going to select this one to 18 and hit OK. Now this one is looking nice. We just move this one a little bit to the bottom, and after this we are going to again copy all of these stuff and paste over here like this one. Just click on this and change this one to pass ID, hit enter, change this one to label name, this one to label contact, this one to label gender, this one to label valid from, and this one to label valid to. Hit enter. After this, we also want to open this form in the center of the screen. So for that, just move back over here, click on this center screen and save it, and just select all of these and move back to this center of the screen like this one. And just save it. I'm not going to empty these because whenever we are going to generate load event for this, and whenever it loads, by default the data which is being passed from this gate pass into this one, that will be pre-filled over here. So you double click on this and this will generate a load event over here. And in the load event, for now we don't want to do anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to generate a constructor over here which will accept multiple arguments like all of this stuff: path, pass ID, name, contact, gender, valid from, valid to, visitor PK, and days also. So for that, I'm going to just copy and paste it over here, and here I'm going to expect one string path, comma string pass ID, comma string name, after this string contact, string gender, comma string valid from, comma string valid to, comma int 64 visitor PK, after this days. So int 64 days inside this one. Now that's it. These variables we are required, and we also need to define it over here. So here string path, comma pass ID, comma name, comma contact, comma gender, comma valid from, comma valid to. And after this, what I want is whenever this form's open, first I want to set the image into this picture box. So try and set this one picture box profile dot size mode. So this form will always be open for each click. So for that, we don't need to worry if image is already set or not. So picture box dot size mode is equal to stretched image. After this, picture box dot image, and we have to set image dot from file, and we have to simply pass the path into this one. Okay. In the catch block, we don't need to do anything. Okay. After this, we need to set the values into the label. So label pass ID dot text text is equal to pass ID. After this, label name dot text is equal to name. Label contact dot text is equal to contact. After this, we have label gender dot text is equal to gender. After this, we have label valid from dot text is equal to valid from. After this, we have label valid to dot text is equal to valid to. And after this, we also need to set the color into the form corresponding to the date, and we also need to save the password, all the details, the pass into the database. And with that we will do in a while. And we also need to set these values into these all variables so that we can use in the operation. So this dot path is equal to path like this. After this, we have this dot pass ID is equal to pass ID. This one, this dot name is equal to name. This dot contact is equal to contact. And after this, we have gender. So this dot gender is equal to gender. This dot valid from is equal to valid from, and this dot valid to is equal to valid to, like this. And now before we code anything further into this pass, what we have to do is we have to move back over here, and we haven't completed the coding for this button. So just double click on this and move back over here. So here what we have to do is we have to first, let me just leave it as on the top. And after this, if I move back over here, first I want to extract all the values from these all labels so that I can pass those values into the pass. So let me just move back over here, and here what we have to do is we have to extract it. So string pass ID is equal to label pass ID dot text. After this, I need to extract the name. So label name dot text. After this, we need to extract the contact. So string contact, label contact dot text. And after this, we need to extract the gender is equal to label gender dot text. String valid from is equal to label valid from dot text. And after this, we need to extract the valid to is equal to label valid to dot text. After this, what we have to do is we have to check that if all of these fields or variables contain some values or not. So we are going to check not string dot is null or empty. Inside this one, we will pass the pass ID, and after this, not string dot is null or empty. Inside this one, we have to pass the name, and after this, not string dot is null or empty. Inside this one, we have to pass the contact, and not string is null or empty. Inside this one, we have to pass the gender. After this, we are going to check for not string is null or empty. Inside this one, we are going to pass valid from, and not string is null or empty. Inside this one, we are going to pass valid to. If these conditions satisfy, then what we have to do is we have to move to the pass. We have to open the pass, and also we have to pass all the data. So, and if this is not the case, it means that we haven't selected all the data. So here what we are going to do is we are going to show a message box dot show. Inside this one, I'm going to put some text, that is invalid pass data, complete selection to generate pass, like this. After this, I'm going to give it a caption, that is information. After that, I'm going to put one message box button like this one, button.ok, and one icon. So message box icon dot exclamation mark. So this one. Now close this with the semicolon, and here you can see this. Now start this and let's check if this one is working fine or not. So this will reset only when we have done all of these stuff. It means that new form is opened and validated. Let me start this. Admin pass login. And if I click on this, one, here you can see this invalid pass data complete selection to generate pass. So if I click on this one, click on this, if I select this one, and if I click on generate, and here you can see that this is all clear. It means that reset is clicked or reset is executed, and this reset is inside this if block. So it means that our code works fine. After this, what we have to do is, if everything is fine, then simply we have to call pass p is equal to new pass. Inside this one, we have to pass all the values. That is, first is path. Here you can see this, the name of the variables. Path, then pass ID, name, we have to pass accordingly. So path, comma, pass ID, comma, name, comma, contact, comma, gender, comma, valid from, comma, valid to, comma, visitor, pk, comma, days. After we pass this, we have to simply call p.show, and this will open the pop-up. So let me just close this and let's start this. So admin pass login, click on this, select one date and select another date and generate this, and here you can see that this form is open. So now you can see the data is also being set over here. So let me just close this, not this one. Let me just move back over here, click on this, select this one, and let's try with the image. So if I click on this and if I click on this, okay. So valid 2 is not selected, like this one, and if I click on this, and you can see this image is also being visible. So next thing what we have to do is we have to open the PDF, that is to print this file, right? So let's do that. Let me just close this. Now the tasks inside this generate pass is done. Next thing we have to move to this pass design, and here first thing what we have to do is we have to add some of the items over here. So first is print document, drag and drop it over here, and we need to add one more stuff, that is print preview dialog. So let me just drag and drop it over here. Just select on this one, and here we have to select the document. So inside this one, click on this and print document 1 is select. After this, what we have to do is we have to move back to this pass, and here we have to actually copy the code for this one. That is, if I move back over here to the gate pass, inside this one we have actually written one method to set the color. That is this one, set pass color. So let me just copy this and move back over here, and let me just paste it over here. And here we don't have the panel, right? So what we have to do is this dot back color. Let me just copy this and paste it over here. Just paste it over here like this. After this, we have to simply call this in this place. So let me just copy this one and move back over here. Let me just paste it over here. And inside this one, we have to pass the days. Not like this. We have to pass days over here. And this will set the color automatically. After this, we have to write the logic to save the data into our table. So our table is pass table, which we have created. So let me just open the table. Okay, and let me just write the method quickly. So private void save pass details. Inside this one, we have to pass string, pass ID, string valid from, string valid to, int 64 visitors pk. Inside this one, we have to simply put all the code in try and catch blocks so that if anything goes wrong, it could be handled. Inside this one, I'm going to simply write the stuff to the console.write line. And inside this one, we have to pass the EX. That is the exception. After this, my table is open. So let me just connect this. Click on this one, open, and I'm going to open my file. That is gate pass generator. And here I'm going to just open my DB, that is gate pass. And if I move back over here, and this is the table in which we have to insert the data. So we have to insert the pass ID, valid from, valid to, and visitors FK in order to get all the data. That is the reference. So let's move back over here to our code. And here just move back into this one. And first thing, we will convert the date time from string to date time. So valid from date is equal to date time dot parse exact. Inside this one, we have to pass valid from comma td dot mm dot yyyy dot culture culture info dot invariant culture, like this one, and just save it and just hover over this. This one is wrong, just remove this one, culture info, just hover over there, so potential fixes, and use this one, use globalization. After this, we have to convert that valid to date. So for the same date time, valid to date is equal to date time dot parse exact. So this one, we have to pass valid to, and we again have to pass dd dot mm dot yyyy dot culture info dot invariant culture, like this one. And after this, we have to write the query. So okay, so we need to create some variables on the top. So move back over here, database operation is equal to new database operation string query and data set ds. Just move back to the bottom, and over here we are going to write the query. So query is equal to insert into the table name, that is pass, the column name, that is pass id, comma valid from, comma valid to, comma visitors underscore fk. After this, we have to pass the values. Inside this one, first we have to pass the pass id. So single, double, plus plus, double, and single. Inside this one, we have to pass the pass id, like this. After this, we have to pass the valid from. So single, double, plus plus, double, single. And so this one, we have to pass valid from date dot to string. And so this one, we have to pass like this, yyyy dash mm dash dd, because in the database we can store the date in this format, just double quotes. After this, we have valid to, so single quotes, double quotes, single quotes, double quotes, plus plus, double quotes, and single quotes. Inside this one, valid to date dot to string. Inside this one, we have to pass the date format, that is yyyy dash y dash mm dash dd, just double quotes close and the bracket close, like this one. And after this, we have that we have the visitor pk. So for this one, just comma, and that's an integer, so double quotes plus plus and double quotes directly. And inside this one, we have to pass visitor pk and just close this. And we need to close the bracket also. So if I move back over here, this bracket is for this one. Okay. After this, we have to simply call the database operation dot set data and we have to pass the query and pass null over here. Okay. Now we have to simply call this inside this one. Inside this one, we have to pass all of this stuff, that is pass ID, comma valid from, comma valid to, comma visitor pk. Just simple like that. After this, what we have to do is we have to print the document. For that, if I move back over here and click on this one, that is print document 1, and just go to the setting, and here we have the event that is print page. So double click on this and it will generate an event like this. And after this, we have that pass load stuff, right? So before we do something to the pass load, what we have to do is we have to move back over here and we have to write rectangle r is equal to e dot page bounds e dot graphics dot draw image. Inside this one we have to pass bm, not this one, that is okay. We have to write one method, that is to print, right? So let me just write one method that is private void print. Inside this method, what we have to do is we have to write one more. We have to take one variable, that is bm, that is bitmap, and the variable will be bmp. And here what we have to do is, let me just save it, and here bmp is equal to new bitmap, and here we have to pass this dot width, comma this dot height. After this, we have to write this dot draw to bitmap. Inside this one, we have to pass the bmp, that is bitmap, and new rectangle. Inside this one, we have to pass 0, 0, this dot width, this dot height. After this, we have to simply call this one. Okay, before we call this, inside this e dot draw image, what we have to do is we have to pass the bmp, and we also have to pass this r, that is rectangle, and just save it. And after this, what we have to do is when this pass loads this one, inside this one, we have to simply call this print method, which we have created right now. And we also need to do something like this: print preview dialog dot show dialog. And after this, we have to close this like this one. Now save it and now start this application, and let's check this if this one is working fine or not. So admin and pass, now log in. If I click on this, select this one, select 23 and 24 and just generate it. And here you can see this print dialog is opened, and if I click on this, the print document is open. So go to this one, documents, and just type ABC, just save it. And if I close it, here you can see this, everything is clear. Now let's check the database if the same data is persisted into the database or not. So this is the database, and select star from pass. Now execute this, and here you can see this 23/1 and 2024. That is the today's date, right? 23/1/2023 and 23/1/2024. This one is persistent to the database. Okay, so let's try one more for the another data. So click on this one, and if I select this 23 or 24 to something, this one like 7/4/2023. So generate it. Click on this. The documents ABC is already there, so ABCD, and save it. Let me just close it, and if I move back to the database, now if I try once again to search for pass, select start from pass, and here you can see this 24/1 to 7/4/2023. It means that data is being saved into the database. So this one is working fine. Now we need to validate the data into our file. So let me just open my file. So here you can see this, we have ABC. If I try to open it, and here you can see this is the pass which is generated, right? Here you can see this. Let me just close this, and we have another that is in different color. So here you can see this, it's generating in different colors, and this one is working fine. So if I close this, and let me just move back over here and just start my application. So the task corresponding to this one is done. Next thing what we have to do is we have to design and code for this one, that is validate pass. So in the next video we are going to do that. So that's it for this video, guys. So please like, subscribe and share with your friends, and follow us on Instagram. Thanks for watching.